Hey everyone, let's talk about Grant Cardone. Let's talk about his book, The 10X Rule. We're going to be talking about that throughout this video live stream. We're also going to be we'll look at his book, a chapter of his book, and we'll also look at his Twitter feed and maybe somebody else's Twitter feed if we have enough time. And this, as a bonus, we may also talk about a website that I look at sometimes. It's called Zero Hedge, just to give you some perspective on maybe what you shouldn't be putting in your mind in 2024. It's 2024 already, and we want to make this your best year ever. And that's what we're talking about today. And what I'd like to do at this point is cancel. Just give me a second here because I just want to make sure the stream is actually going. I'm using an app. You can see the watermark in the right-hand corner called Streamlabs. I haven't used this before, and I'm not sure if this is going out or whether or not you're watching, whether or not you can hear the audio, or whether or not you can even see the stream, because I'm not able to put a YouTube thumbnail on this at this point. Why don't we do this? Instead of just like talking about Grant Cardone, let's talk about how you should be heading into 2024. 2024 is going to be an exciting year. We right now, on this particular day, in this particular year, in this particular era in the history of the world, we are standing on the cusp of something really great, and that is artificial intelligence. And I was talking about this last night, and if you look at history, and I used to be really into history, but I'm not sure if I've been applying it as much as I used to in the past. But if you look at history, we're going to see different eras in history. And when I talk about errors, I'm not talking about the mistakes. I'm talking about era. And you might hear my Boston accent come out every once in a while. I should introduce myself. My name is Rob. I'm a former military guy turned entrepreneur and attorney. When I say military guy, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was a major in the Marine Corps, and I am still currently an attorney, a lawyer, and I do appellate work. I also am a digital entrepreneur, and by that I mean I create YouTube videos, and I have a social media presence, all to really enrich your life, to make your life a little bit better. We talk about self-improvement, millionaire mindset, growth mindset, finances, personal relationships, to help you get to where you want to go in life. And I know sometimes life can be difficult. Sometimes it feels like we're trying to swim upstream, just like salmon do sometimes, and it's a difficult job. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to encourage you that yes, we can do better in life. Yes, we can. If we have to, shut off this heat, swim upstream. And that's what it might be sometimes. That's how it is in my life anyway. I want to make sure today that you know what we're talking about, and that's we're talking about Grant Cardone and the 10X rule. And I can kind of feel a song coming on, but I'm not sure if I want to go for it at this point. When I talk about Grant Cardone, let's actually... No, I want to know if you are, where you're from, really. Put in the comments where you're from. I can't see it. I wish I could. but I'm using this new streaming software, but other people can see it. The other people on the stream can see where you're from. I'm from Boston. And it's a snowy day here. It's cold. And I kind of wish it was warmer. But it's not. Let's see if I can put this thumbnail on to YouTube. Just give me a minute here. You might hear a little bit of silence, but that's okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I see something here. All right. All right, that's fine. It's fine. So, today we're talking about Grant Cardone, and how you can make your life better in 2024, and how you can get more in 2024, how you can improve your life in 2024 to get what you want out of life. And if 2023 wasn't your year, 2024 will be your year. And how do I know that? Because I was talking earlier about what era we're in. And again, I'm not talking about the mistake era, ERO era. We're talking about the ERA era. The era, the epic, the time period we're in history. And the time period we're in history, let's look at the past a little bit. We're talking about different time periods. We're talking about the agricultural history period of the world. And then we went to the industrial era. Then we went to the information age. And now we are in, tell me in the comments what era we're in right now. I'm going to tell you, but I want you to take a moment to think about what era of time we're in right now. Well, it's the most exciting era that we've ever encountered as human beings, in my opinion. That era that we're in right now is the era of artificial intelligence. And because of artificial intelligence, our lives are going to be much, much, much easier, and it's going to level the playing field for everybody. So if you're not good at writing, now you're an expert writer. If you always wanted to write a book, now you can write a book. If you wanted to set up a website in seconds, now you can set up a website in seconds. If you want to be an expert in law, well, it took me 3 years of law school, and I can't tell you how many years of practicing as an attorney to become an expert in law. But I am, and I want to know what kind of expert you are. Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like. Oh, I've heard the tender whispers of love coming through the night as you tell me you're alone. You're It's a little bit hard at playing the guitar when you have an audience. Although I don't have an audience, maybe I do. So we're in the era of artificial intelligence, and that era is exciting. And we can look at Grant Cardone's book, but I just really want to get the message across that wherever you are in life right now, you can 10x where you are in life right now. And you can do that by using artificial intelligence. How cool is that? I've even used artificial intelligence, although it hasn't worked very well, trying to improve my music. Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories am going to get to Grant Cardone, but just as a little story to begin with is the story is I describe myself as a digital entrepreneur, and I am. And I've been doing YouTube videos for 3 years. So I'm not afraid. I'm not like I'm not afraid to put it out there. Let's put it that way. I'm not afraid to, and you shouldn't be either. So I've heard lately, I've been thinking lately in my mind that you see different people, and this stream is about Grant Cardone and the 10X rule. So you see different people out there in social media, let's say. Take Grant Cardone, for instance. Grant Cardone is an exceptional man. He's accomplished a lot in life. He has a private jet. He has a beautiful wife and beautiful kids. He has a real estate empire. And through that, if you've listened to Grant, you would know that even though he is exceptional, he is successful as far as the material things in his life. He had a difficult early life. He described it as he was addicted. He had substance use issues. And through those substance use issues, he let a lot of people down. And I think at one point he really got beaten up by somebody, almost to the point of a serious medical condition. And when you think about it, sometimes we think that we want to be like other people, that we wish we were other people. But we only wish for the things that are good in their lives. And in our own lives, we might wish, well, I wish I had a private jet, or I wish I had a Rolls Royce, or a Lamborghini, or a Jaguar, or something to that effect. But we don't wish to have the bad parts of other people's lives. So what I'm trying to say is be satisfied with your own life as it is right now. And let's get it to the point where you're even more satisfied with it. Embrace who you are, embrace what you're doing. And when you do that, you're sure to get more in 2024. So right now, I think we should talk about Grant Cardone and the 10X rule. So let's see what we have here. We are going to talk about Grant Cardone. If I can get this up here. Not sure where that came off, but I'm going to try to get something else on here for you. And that's his book, The 10X Rule. You can't see it yet, but hopefully you will in a minute. There we go. So, just want to make sure this is up here. There we go. So Grant, in one of the chapters of his book, says the title is Average is a Failing Formula. Personally, there's nothing wrong with being average. And like we were just talking about, we all have different aspects of our personality. But we all can shoot for more than being average. For instance, he says, look around and chances are you'll see a world that's filled with average. Although this is acceptable, and he argues that it's built into the middle class, that there's growing evidence that this thinking is unworkable. Like we were talking about earlier, we can be really exceptional now, a lot easier than it was when this book was written. I'm not sure if it was written in 2005 or not. Let's see if we can get to the table of contents. I think it was. Doesn't say the copyright. So it was written in 2011. So it's over 10 years old. And at the point that it was written at, there wasn't artificial intelligence. So you and I have the ability right now to be above average very easily by using artificial intelligence. And when I mean artificial intelligence, I mean like using, let's see if I can bring it up here, apps like this one, Bard. So I was trying to find out how to put a thumbnail on this video earlier, and it said it couldn't be done. So I said, who cares? I won't put a thumbnail on it. But you can see, oh, it's not even on here, is it? Anyway, if you want to, we can take a look at the Bard. I never answer a phone during a live stream, whoever it is. So let's continue talking about, this is, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go back to average is a failing formula. He says that members of the middle class are unable to get their heads above water. People are living longer than their savings. Entire companies and industries are being wiped out as a result of average products, average management, average workers, average actions, and average thinking. That's pretty pessimistic to me. I don't think that people are being wiped out by being average. They might not be getting as far as they want in life, but I don't think they're getting to the point where they're being wiped out. He talks about Starbucks founder Howard Schultz, that in the financial crisis in 2008, he went around to Starbucks stores and looked and met with coffee drinkers and customers outside normal business hours for him. And Grant argues that because of that, he was doing something exceptional. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is exceptional. When we do something that we like doing, if you have a job that you like doing, if you have something that you're working toward and you love doing that, you're going to find yourself doing exactly that and doing it more hours than you think you might want to, because you might think are normal because you love doing it. Let's get to some meat here. Let's see if we can get to something good. He wants to take into consideration the efforts of groups that impede your efforts. He says, I'm not one to be paranoid or live in fear. I learned the very expensive lesson that these people exist. So he's talking about people who will let you down, people who might take your ideas. He, earlier in his career, from what I remember, was in partnership with somebody, and as a result of that, his partner took his money or some of his business, and Grant had to start over again. So he was a little bit jaded by that experience. Let's see. What if you live 20 years longer than your savings? Most of us will have to take care of other family members because they didn't have a 10x mindset to operate at 10x levels. What about the possibility of long-term health issues or state of economic emergencies that hasn't been foreseen? What happens to entire classes of people who made average financial plans when faced with extended periods of difficult economic times or decades of extended unemployment? He puts an emphasis on by using an exclamation point, average is a failing formula. That to me, again, is really, really depressing. And I don't think that is looking at life through an abundance mindset. I think it's looking at life, looking at the bad things that can happen. And I don't think you have to think in those terms. I think you should shoot for extraordinary in life, but I don't think you should shoot for extraordinary based upon feeling that your life isn't going to get anywhere because, or you want to get somewhere because you're paranoid about what might happen in the future. There's always going to be, if you read the book, I think it's called The Black Swan, and there's always going to be events all the time. And I read a book recently, and I can't remember what it was, but there's always going to be a black swan event that nobody can foresee happening. And the pandemic was one of those events, although I do remember before the pandemic, I think it was President Bush talking about some of the things that might happen while he was in office or could happen. And the White House, I believe, has a lot of contingency plans. They try to think ahead of what some black swan events could be. But I don't think we have to live our lives. We don't have to live our lives worrying about what might happen in the future. If you do that, you're going to miss the opportunities that are right in front of you. And that's certainly something that none of us should do. Yeah, I don't know what happened to all my streams, but let's take a look at something else here. I'd like to take a look at that of Grant Cardone's and see how he's thinking now. Twitter stream. And here it is. I think it's here. Here's his Twitter stream. So let's take a look at what he's talking about lately. That's actually not his Twitter stream, is it? Yeah. So let's see, how to avoid the IRS legally. He's paranoid about the IRS. Again, I'm not one to talk about bad things that will happen and talk about pessimism. But thinking about the IRS, I bet the people who work at the IRS don't want to think about it every day. 21 hours ago, he writes, I will never not be with the people. I act like I'm better than others, retire and become useless, live in my past victories, hate on another's success, join the elites and sell out. A lot of people think that Grant Cardone is an elite, don't they? I think he's a pretty down-to-earth guy. And I don't think he will ever retire, and I don't think he'll ever become useless unless some unforeseen circumstances that he doesn't think about hits him unexpectedly. He says, I'm looking to buy 2 of these for a project he's working on. Looks like a pretty cool car. I made a habit of never depending on money for my self-confidence. It's out of curiosity, what are people saying here? Zach says we can be confident even without money. Our value shouldn't be placed on our financial capabilities. What do you think about that? Self-confidence was always good for me. It was allowing someone to take control of my company and money. I don't know what he's talking about. This is revolutionary for entrepreneurs. I think that's a little bit overboard. Absolutely, our confidence should come from trust in our Creator. And that's kind of like what I was just singing about, right? We were talking about that. We were singing about that song about God. But, one of the things that I talk about sometimes is a guy named, he was a saint, and his name will come to me, but I can't remember it right now. And he talked about, I don't know what the heck that's for. He talked about he talked about depending upon God as if God was your only source, and working as if everything depended upon yourself. And that's more or less been my philosophy in life, to work as hard as I can and then depend upon the Lord for everything else. And that's what this guy is talking about right here. And let's see if we can get to here. So let's see, taking Grant Cardone, I was just talking about, said, I made a habit of not depending upon money for my self-confidence. Well, good for him. He doesn't have to worry about that because he has plenty of money. And I'm not saying you should worry about money, but he doesn't have to worry about it. And one of the comments was about a man who said, Daniel Mitchell, who has 11,000 followers, says, follower of the merciful and loving Savior, husband of a gorgeous wife, father of some pretty amazing kids, author of The Spear Method, Living Free. Sounds good to me. He says, absolutely, our confidence comes from our trust in God. It certainly can't come from trust in money. If we trust in money, we're not going to get anywhere. So let's see. You won't get anywhere. Let's see. I want to go back to something if I could. Oh, why? I was talking earlier about I'm using this new streaming software called Streamlabs. And I don't know what I just did, but okay, let's see. There we go. So Grant Cardone, should we get back to him? We were talking about his book, and the more I'm looking at his book, the 10X rule, the more I can see. It was written in 2011, that it's kind of outdated. And it seems to me, I really like Grant Cardone. There's no doubt about it. I think he's really smart, and he's grown over the years. Okay, he's grown over the years to kind of change his philosophy somewhat. So he says average never yields anything more than average, and usually much less. Average thinking and actions will only guarantee you misery, uncertainty, and failure. Are you kidding me? I don't think so. Average isn't horrible, but and I don't think it's going to guarantee you misery, uncertainty, and failure. But I want to encourage you to do more than average, to rid yourself of everything that's average, including the advice you get from family and friends. Sound tough? Remember that success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. And since there's no shortage of success, any apparent limitations you're experiencing might simply be the result of thinking and acting average. Rid yourself of every concept of average. Study what average people do and prohibit yourself and your team from considering average as an option. And what do you think? Is average an option? It's the next chapter. 10x goals. I think I'd rather just go back to, if you don't mind, the Twitter screens, and we want to talk. You know what? Let's see this. The reason why I don't think that I think that the 10x rule is a little bit outdated is because it concentrates too much on comparing pessimism, like you just talked about the misery of being average. It compares pessimism with getting ahead in life. So you don't have to be in fear to get ahead in life. You don't have to be in fear. Okay, that was you don't have to be in fear. What you do have to do is have the proper mindset. And that proper mindset is believing in yourself, believing that you have the capability of doing what you want in life. And if you look at this website, it kind of gives you an idea of the bad news that's out there. And I mean, some people make investment decisions based upon bad news. And as always, there's never a shortage of bad news, and I don't read it. I don't. I might skim the headlines just to stay up with what's happening in the world, but I'm not going to dwell on it at all. Sometimes you can find some tidbits of information that you can use for investment advice, for investment ideas, I should say. But I'm excited about the world of investments, the opportunities that artificial intelligence is going to bring to the investment world. And we're talking about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, talking about robo-advisors for stocks, talking about being able to pick stocks using artificial intelligence and create portfolios using artificial intelligence, make real estate decisions based upon the advice of and algorithms used in artificial intelligence. So I don't want to spend any time at all really looking at this bad news, but sometimes bad news sells. But my point is to all of you is that don't think too much about the bad news, because there's never a shortage of it. Let's go back to, I want to go back to something a little more positive, and that's going to be another Twitter stream. And let's see if we can do this. We are going to share another Twitter stream. If we can. This is what happens when you're on a live stream. Grant Cardone, I don't want to see him again. But sometimes I get some pretty good ideas from Twitter. And I don't spend a whole bunch of time on Twitter, let's say. But let's see, how to make broad board meetings. I don't care about that. How to un-F your life in 5 minutes. Okay, to succeed in 2024, stop blame, whining, distraction, complaining, procrastination, shaming yourself, negative self-talk. All good things to stop doing. The question is, how do you stop doing that? So this is a post by Clint Murphy, and he has 360,000 followers. I used to interact with him a lot, and I haven't been doing a whole lot on Twitter lately because for the last month or so, it's been about a month, I've been reading. I read about 45 books, and I did skim again the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And as we're talking here about that book, the 10X Rule, I can see that the lessons in there seemed really relevant at the time, but they're not as relevant, I don't think, as they were in 2011 when the book came out. I'm trying to see if we can find anything good to talk about. Let's see. Why would you add this list? Share below. Knowing what to prioritize as founders. No. The problem is you want everything now. No, who doesn't? Laws of power. Law 1, always speak less than necessary. I think that's a good rule. I think that's a good law. Think about it. And have you ever been in a meeting or wanted to just talk because you felt you had to, to get to think that you were useful? I think the mark of maturity is being able to sit back and not worry about what other people think about you. And in this way, this law number 1 that Mind Matter Money posted, it's a growth mentor, is good. Don't worry about what other people think. Just sit back and take it in sometimes and, come to your own conclusions after you hear everybody else's thoughts on the subject. I'm in the process right now of writing a book, and I've been in the process of writing this book for a couple of years now, and the ideas come and go, and I think it's going to come out sooner or later, but we'll see. But I think you're going to like it when you hear some of the things that I've written. But that last tweet kind of reminded me of some of the content of the book. So Wealth Director says the price of success is 100% responsibility. Grant Cardone speaks about responsibility. Most of the 45 books that I've read over this last month or so talk about responsibility, taking action, not blaming other people, having the right mindset, not having a negative mindset, having an abundance mindset, not having a limited mentality, thinking that everything's going to run out. It's not going to run out. Opportunities are not going to run out, for sure. There's opportunities everywhere. And the best time to take advantage of an opportunity was more or less yesterday. But sometimes, oops, I want that back up there. Yeah. Sometimes the best time to take care of an opportunity, to take advantage of an opportunity, is when we first see it. And the trouble with opportunities is opportunities usually don't come gift wrapped. They don't say, here I am, I'm your next opportunity. Unwrap me and I will wrap myself around you and make it easy for you. And opportunities do not come looking like that. Opportunities come looking like work and risk and something that creates a little bit of maybe anxiety and fear. So you get the idea, right? You probably look back on your life and say, if only I invested in real estate 10 years ago. If only I bought that stock, if only I bought Apple when it was at whatever it was at, 50. No, it's at 150. I don't know. I don't follow Apple anymore. But we can't go back in time and take care of those opportunities. But we can be confident that there's many, many more opportunities to come. And if you believe that, you should definitely put a thumbs up in the comments. And if you're watching this live stream at some point in the future, I'd like to know where you're from, so let me know. But let me see if I can see this right now, because it's hard for me to read on my screen. So, Tyler Todd, my wife told me recently, I'll follow you anywhere. I trust you with everything. Thank you for putting God, me, and the family first. He says, as a man, there's nothing more I want out of life than my wife's respect and trust. It's our legacy, our mission, and I'm grateful to lead. That's an inspiring tweet, isn't it? He says, one day at a time, love building others up. Let's all win. So think about that. And as I said earlier, and it's funny when you start thinking about it, really, because you get up in the morning and sometimes you don't know where the day is going to take you. I mean, we all plan for our days. We have things we have to do. But sometimes life comes at you, or sometimes life surprises you with something good. And Tyler just gave us something good from a man's perspective. Anyway, maybe from a woman's perspective. I'll follow you anywhere. His wife said, I trust you with everything. Thank you for putting God, me, and the family first. I don't know. What do you think? I wish I had a pick. Because my thumb is getting sore a little bit. 1,000 stories of what many things you're like. What I've heard, the tender whisper of love, the dead of man, you tell me that I'm never alone. I think I like that pick. That you're never alone. You're a good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. So what do you think? I don't think I'm going to continue on the stream for too much longer. So for joining me today, thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys are the reason I do this, the reason I am a digital entrepreneur. The reason I am is to help you guys out. Just like Grant Cardone tries to help people out, just like these creators on Twitter try to help people out. So this man, positive call mindset coach, says, I want to become so financially stable that God uses my pockets to bless others. I can't believe this, man. I start singing a song about a good father, and all of a sudden, every other tweet is about God. The one thing I have learned in life is because you follow the Creator doesn't necessarily mean your life is going to be blessed financially. Again, earlier in the stream, I did say that there was a saint who said, pray as if everything depends upon God, and work as if everything depends upon you. And if you do that, if you do work as hard as you can, then you're probably going to get a lot further in life than you would if you didn't do that. So I just want to thank everybody for coming and joining on this live stream. My name is Rob. I am a former United States Marine Corps major. I am an attorney at law, and I am a digital entrepreneur. And I'm here, and I'm streaming, and I'm trying to make your life better. And if we work together, you and I, we can make 2024 the best year ever. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.